Hey, how you doing? So I thought I'd just do a quick video for you so you can see what I've done. Basically, what you mentioned is exactly what I needed to do, um, and I just find it easy just to show you and so you understand what I've done. I think it'd probably be a good idea once I finish testing to send you this so you can copy it for FIFA 16. But basically, Champions League is set up as it should be. I've rearranged the groups so they're up to date as in the new coefficient, so that's good. I've also edited it so that it actually includes quite a lot of teams from the special teams, so it'll be a bit more varied in terms of teams that we have in that. I quite like the fact as well I've added the qualification round 2. So I didn't have that before. I only had two qualification rounds. Now we've got 3. And all of the competitions cascade into another, so there's quite a lot of competitions now that come from the Champions League that drop into the Europa League and then into the ECL. So I think how I have it set up is I've got the setup here, and these 3 groups here is what you were talking about, having it's a bit messy, but actually once it's done it's not too bad. But these 3 groups, pretty simply, they are kept here. They're not involved at all in this competition, but I needed to do that, as you mentioned, because if I didn't do that, then it would load, the top teams basically from the Champions League, and the same thing with the competition dependency line. It only reads one of them, so I tried 2 of them, and it just doesn't work, like you said. So this is what we've got, and they then feed from these groups into here. And it looks blank like this, but I'll show you the comp data in a minute, and I'll show you what's in there. So those 2, it splits it up, so you've got the Champions path, the main path. I've kind of tried to do that by having the best teams will go into G1 and the second will go into G2, and then it's further split up and drawn from here, which works pretty well. So this ECL is smaller than the real life ECL. The Europa League is exactly as it is now, but this is smaller because there's a little bit of a problem with dates. I've found that anything when you start getting like early July or including basically any teams that aren't user controlled, career mode crashes and FIFA 14 just won't play, so I can't have the full qualifications unless I include user teams. And then even so, as far as I've been able to tell, if you start the season in July and the real competition I think starts in June, you just can't do that. It won't allow you to do it. It has to be all contained within the one season, which can be done, I suppose, but that will also mean that we'll have to create a lot of teams, and I don't really want to do that. It's a lot as it is. So that's basically how it works. It then gets seeded, and so all of the teams that didn't qualify in round 3, the second teams, they drop into this pot here, and then when the playoff round is played in the ECL, so it is done in here, and then each round cascades downwards into this competition, and that's it. It's really quite simple. The comp data here, so what we've got going on is we've got from 221, which I think is this one up here, is it? No, this one up here, 221, so it grabs those teams here, and then it grabs from the next group 222, and then it grabs the second teams from the qualifying 3rd round in the Europa League, and then it grabs the final entries from 223, and then that puts them into these 2 groups respectively. Yeah, and that's it. And so even though you can't see it in Creation Master, at least that's just how it's done. So what you did sounds like exactly the same thing basically, and it is a bit messy, but actually it does work. And from what I've done so far, it has worked, and there's no problems with loading new seasons, all that sort of stuff. But I've still got to finish updating the rest of the leagues, which I haven't done yet. So until I think I've got everything updated, I can't really do full tests yet, because I've got you. I might even send you this database. It's just a bit of a mess because I'm creating all new teams and all that sort of stuff with it. What else did I want to show you? So I've got that. The only other problem I've got, I don't know if you know how to fix this one, is with the biggest problem I have is every time I save with Creation Master, it completely breaks this competition now. Because one, I've got special teams that go over the limit that is set in Creation Master of 8. So I've always got to update these special teams here, and also here where I've got 20 in this list here. Obviously I can get round that by reducing it, but I don't know if you know of any better way. So maybe if I do send you this stuff, you might find a better way so that if it is saved, it doesn't kill this, because without this number of teams, the competition will not populate at all. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. And if you do have a solution, because I think you've done one before where you've had, for example, your special teams listed here, but then in other rounds you've also had them listed here as well, and I've not ever really done that, so I don't know how the hierarchy works. So if you could explain that, that'd be great. Other than that, I'm happy to just leave it as it is, because I prefer for people not to edit the database and just load the DLC as it's created. That's what I tell most people to do anyway. What was the other thing I wanted to show you? Oh yeah, the player names thing. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just having a look through some of the IDs that I had, and I'm just replacing them just by finding the duplicates and so on. But this list here, I'm going to use this to help us create players. I'll probably send this to Naferu at some point as well. I've got a guy who's helping me create UEFA teams at the moment. He's going to use this list. I've got a ton of databases that have a lot of the squad files from FIFA 14, 15 and 16 that are missing. Also a few from 18, 19, 20, 21 and so on. So I'm missing a few, but not a lot. I've also put in this list here the scrape that I did from the scrape that I did from FIFA website, so it's at least got the link in it. So if I can't find them in a database, if we ever need any of these players, which a lot of them we won't because they're from quite old games now, at least we can just know where to go to get them, or at least get some of the data. So I'm just trying to put together a really strong list that we can use. There's going to be duplicates, it won't be 100% accurate, but I think it's quite a good way forward. It's the last thing, I suppose, is I obviously, just like you, don't really want to spend months and months and months creating stuff, so I just want to do stuff as quickly as possible this season. Hence why I'm putting in quite a bit of effort now to get the teams right, get the competitions right, and then hopefully it's just a case of, as soon as we possibly can, get the kits updated or added in or whatever, and get it released. That's kind of how I feel. I don't have as much time to work on the mod this season, and if it ends up being months of work, I'll probably end up not being able to finish. So yeah, anyway, sorry for the long rambling video. It's quite late at night for me now, but yeah, if you need anything, give me a shout.